Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 11 takes us to the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, where a new champion could be crowned today. Big Bulls, 72 points clear with 3 races to go. He outscores Dixon by at least 13 points. Tonight, he will be crowned champion with a couple of rounds to spare. We've got 19 drivers in the lobby. We are just waiting for qualifying to begin. It'll be a 3-part qualifying, Q1, Q2 and Q3. We'll lose, at the moment, the slowest 4 at the end of Q1, then the next 5 by the end of Q2, and then the top 10 will battle out for pole in Q3. You know how it all works. So in terms of last week, Dixon wasn't around, so it was an opportunity for Big Bulls to extend his championship lead, which he definitely did so by finishing second to Smalley, who snatched the lead on the last lap, to the delight of him. He's in the Aston Martin tonight, so another chance for Smalley to wrap up another victory. We've also got Ocon, who's in the McLaren tonight in place of Swinney, who couldn't make it for whatever reason. And Therese is also not around, so his Alpine seat is filled in by Jackson. So we've seen some cars heading out on track now. I think Jack is one of them in the Williams. And the Jack at the moment this season, 15th with 27 points. He's aiming for an improvement this time around. We've got 3 races in the Middle East to go. Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, and then the season finale will be at the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia. And the latest patch that was released yesterday has confirmed that the glitches in terms of the track limit warnings that you get for at either the pit entry or the pit exit, that's been rectified now. So we'll be going to Saudi Arabia without any issues with the track itself. Meanwhile, we are in Abu Dhabi for Q1 as we watch Jack. You know, I forgot to mention that Common Bath is also in. He's in place of Scenario, who isn't around tonight. Previously known, well, he's known as Blue Flag actually, but other way, Blue Flag is not around tonight, so Common Bath is in place of him. Unless he's changed his username again or something, I don't know. Well, Jack is coming around to start his flying lap. Oh, he's lost it already! And Jack's in the wall and out! So he's caught the curb on the outside, and his qualifying session is over before it's even started. What an embarrassment for Jack. He didn't even need to push that hard, and he's dropped it. So Ricky in the AlphaTauri can take us on for a lap. So he makes his way through the first chicane, obviously removed on the old configuration now, but we weren't able to release the current configuration for this game cycle. It will be released in F1 2022 for sure, though. So he comes out of turn number 9, I believe it is, or it's almost lost count with all the corner numbers. I think this is turns 11, 12 and 13. There's 14, and then we've got 2 kinks of 15 and 16 before the next braking zone of 17. So Ricky coming through. He's already won a race this season in Austria. In terms of the battle for third in the Drivers' Championship, It's Mikey who's ahead by 36 points over Bury in 4th. And is another 7 ahead of Statistic King in 5th. Ricky at the moment is 7th on 89 points. He's posted the first time of tonight, 1 minute 35.8. Lynx behind on a 137.2. We've got an Alfa Romeo next over the line. That is Pimis, 136.5 for him. And just look to see who is going to be the next driver over the line. Well, it's Mikey who's heading over the line, not otherwise known as SpongeBob on the graphic. He's coming through. We've got a Ferrari next. That is Big Balls. He's the only Ferrari involved tonight as we speak. But he's gone third fastest on a 136.9, so there's definitely some time to be found for him. Jackson goes second with 135.9. A good effort from him. And a reminder that the top 15 will go through to Q2. That's just to decide who gets through. And the bottom 4, we expect it to be Jack because he's not got time on board. On the board, I should say. He won't be setting a lap time in this session. There is Ocon. You see the French colours on his crash helmet. Into sector 2, 58.8 by the stage of the lap. He's exceeded track limits, unfortunately, so we may as well come away from him. Statistic King is coming round. He was on a fast lap, but I think he must have made a mistake somewhere, so he's missed the pit lane. He's going to have to go round the Statistic King. I don't know why he's just done that. He's committed himself now. So Statistic King on the back foot already, it seems. And there's Big Balls coming through in the Ferrari. I just wonder if he may be doing another flying lap, because that one he's posted is not very quick. Over the line, and it's a 135.9, and he goes second fastest. That's more representative. And there's Wild Dog next in the Mercedes coming through. He goes 8th with a 137.4. And we've got a Williams next who is behind. That's Dixon. He'll be starting a flying lap now. So the next driver we'll pick up on is Becco, who is improving through sector 2. He's posted a 136.1. He did lose a little bit of time in the last sector, but he still moves up to 4th place ahead of Lewis. And there's Pimis ahead of Lynx, ahead of Wild Dog, and Statistic King, who's carrying on with the lap he's on. Mikey's on a lap, as is Smalley. We've just seen an Aston Martin over the line. That was Carlos Killer, who's in 7th on a 136.9. Teammate Smalley into sector 2. I'm sure Smalley competed earlier in the season, and I just wonder if he competes in enough races for this campaign. I just hope his points total will be counted towards the championship. It'd be interesting to know how many points he has scored in the races he has served as a reserve driver for this season. There's an Alfa Romeo in front. Hopefully it shouldn't intervene. Smalley turning a bit too early there. Had to back out of the turn in before he actually got through the corner. 136.5 as Statistic King has decided to retire from the session, so it's likely he'll be out at the end of Q1. Mikey over the line goes 5th. It's a good lap from him. Bowie's on a lap. Dixon's coming around the last corner now, and looks like Warrior Huntsman's dropped it on the exit of turn 2, so that's another driver falling foul of the curbs on this racetrack. We'll pick up on that with Wild Dog, who has just gone past him there. So we'll go back to Carlos Killer. He's not on a fast lap, actually, so we'll come away from him. So Bowie is one driver who is yet to post a lap time. And went in too quickly there through 10.14. he's coming round the penultimate turn of turn 20. This is turn 21. Well, it's now turn 16 in the real life configuration. 138.2, only good enough for 13, so Berry definitely needs to go again, I would have thought. I think the only consolation for him is that he's ahead of Statistic King, who's not coming back out. He's ahead of Jack, who's not coming back out. And he's ahead of Warrior Huntsman, who's not coming back out. So I think Bowie, the lowest he could end up at the end of this session will be 16th. And there's Ocon, who's out on track, needing to get a lap time on the board. Fake Scouser and Common Bath are not out on the circuit either. So good to see who else is on a flying lap. I don't think Dixon's on a flying lap. No, he's coming back into the pits. So Dixon's Q1 session seems to be well and truly done. So Bowie in the Haas, coming towards Sector 2. He's half a second up from before. Now, turn 14 was where he ran wide at, so I'd expect him to make up for that this time. And he does so without a problem. So we should expect him to be in the low 1 minute 37s, if not the high 36s. So we've got just 4 drivers out on circuit right now. Bowie's one of them. He's coming around the last corner now. Bowie, it's a 1:37.2, goes ahead of his teammates, so that's a better time there for Bowie, much better than before. And just seen Lynx, who's on a fast lap in the Haas, sorry. Ocon has just started a flying lap in the McLaren. And it looks like Pimis has gone out on circuit again. Not sure why he's needing to have done that. And then this is Lynx. He's coming towards the second sector. He'll be in the 58s. It's a 58.7. It's a 10th up from before. So he's looking good, actually, to get back ahead of Bowie. Now, Lynx so far this season has picked up 56 points. He's currently 10th in the Drivers' Championship. He's hit the wall there as Lynx. That won't have done the front wing any good. Through turn 20. Now 21. Oh, he's dropped it there. He's hit the wall. That's his session over. So Lynx pushing too hard, and he's now out of qualifying. Whatever happens. Now, that doesn't mean that Statistic King's out of qualifying yet, because he's in 13th. So he may still have a chance of getting through. But for Lynx, his qualifying session has ended prematurely. He's out. Ocon over the line, goes third fastest with 1:35.9. So that's a very good effort from him. He is safe and into Q2, no problem. Now there's Fake Scouser, who's out on track. Got just over 5 minutes remaining, so he's got time to get this lap done. Common Bath has not been out of the pitch yet. To be honest, if he does, he just needs to get a clean lap in. Just the banker will do. And he is through into Q2, no problem. Now, Lynx's time would place him 14th. And Pimis, I think, is on a fast lap as well. But he's invalidated that, so he won't be going any faster anytime soon. The Fake Scouser is coming towards Sector 1 now. And it's a 17.4, which is fairly decent. He's shown some good pace in the practice sessions, I have to say, his Fake Scouser, so could that come into good use? Common Bath is out on circuit as well in the AlphaTauri. So once Fake Scouser gets this lap time in, Statistic King will be down to 15th place, and if Common Bath gets his lap in without an issue. That'll push Statistic King out of qualifying. So we're not really going to get an intense ending to Q1 as we had hoped. There's just too many drivers. They can catch you out these curves here at Yas Marina. This circuit's played host to Formula 1 since 2009. It's hosted 13 Grand Prix, 4 of which has decided the championship, including last year's controversial finale between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Fake Scouser over the line. It's a 1:36.2, good enough to put him 9th fastest. He is through to Q2, no problem. Colin Barth is about to start his flying lap now in the AlphaTauri. I think if you're any of the drivers who are out on the circuit, you may feel, do not to push on in this lap. I just need to get the car back into the pits and I'll be fine in through to Q2. And Colin Barth has to correct an oversteer through turn 1, or turn 3 I should say. And that was very nearly curtains for him. So DRS open for Colin Barth. It doesn't need to be the greatest of laps. He just needs to be faster than Statistic King. He posted a 1:42.0, which is not a very representative time. So Colin Barth running wide though, probably carried too much speed into that section. He just needs to keep the car on circuit now. Doesn't need to be doing anything silly. So Colin Barth coming round the penultimate turn. It's a 1:39.2, and it's good enough. It's not good enough to move him ahead of Lynx though. So Colin Barth's going to have to go again here if he is to get through. Now Lynx is out because he's crashed out on circuit, so Colin Barth could still join him. So we could be losing 5 drivers at the end of Q1. So Colin Barth needs to beat a 1:37.2 to book his place into the second part of qualifying. So the battle is on now. It's pretty much a lap shootout between him and Bowie to both get through. Now these will be the last laps. And Colin Barth, his time was a 1:39.2, 2 seconds slower than what Lynx had produced. So 2 seconds is what he needs to find from before. He's half a second up by sector 2. So this is a very important lap time he needs to put together in the remainder of this lap. And the checker flag is out now, so anyone on a fast lap can complete it. We've just got 2 on circuit though. So Colin Barth is coming round. Is this going to be quick enough to put him in Q2? Yes, it is. He goes 12th. So Lynx is most certainly out of qualifying anyway. So we'll only be losing the slowest 4 at the end of qualifying instead of 5. Bowie can breathe a huge sigh of relief. He does not need to go any quicker. He wants to complete the lap anyway. He'll probably use this set for the first time run it in Q2, unless he decides to have a run on the mediums. It's coming through the last turn now, and this lap for Bowie is good enough to put him onto a 1:36. He went 12th quickest with that time, so he's doing to Q2 as well. So Dixon fastest, but that does not determine the grid. What does determine the grid is those in the bottom four. Links out by crashing out on circuit. Statistics King also stopping in the pits. Jack and Warrior Huntsman crashing out without a time on the board. We'll be back for Q2 very shortly. Welcome back, folks, for Q2. We'll lose the next slowest 5 drivers at the end of this session. And there is Smalley heading out on circuit. There's a Red Bull who's just got out there first. That'll be Lewis, who's on the mediums. Now, they don't have a lot of time, these drivers, so I want to get out there sooner rather than later. Trying to generate some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We've now got 8 drivers on circuit. We're just seeing the other Aston Martin of Carlos Killer heading out on track now. Followed by one of the Alpines. So Lewis in the Red Bull. Raring to go for this lap. And catching the car in time. Just needs to be careful, he doesn't take too much curve on the exit. But he begins his lap now. As he's coming through turns 2 and 3. And it's a 17.4 through sector 1. And the second sector is not until just before the entry of the slalom chicane of turns 11, 12 and 13. Rear-wing open for Lewis on this back straight. There are 2 DRS zones, one on the first back straight and the other on the very next so-called straight. There is a kink that comes with that, but that's where the second DRS zone is placed at. That's a 58.3 for Lewis through sector 2. I'm not sure how many drivers are going to get through on the medium compound. I think the likes of Dixon, Ocon and Big Balls and Smalley actually have a considerable chance of making it through on the mediums, but others, I think they're going to have to really, really work hard to get through on the mediums at this rate. Because the difference between the mediums and the softs in terms of lap time here is very, very significant. Lewis heading over the line in the Red Bull for 1:36.2. It's a very good effort from him. What about the Alfa Romeo of Pumis? He's coming through now. It's not a valid lap time because he exceeded track limits on that lap, so he'll have to go again. Smalley goes top with 1:37.2, just a couple of hundredths, or just under that, quicker than Lewis had posted. Lewis has just gone for a spin. Ricky goes second, 1,000th of a second slower than Smalley. And Dixon goes top with 1:35.8 for him. So the driver second in the championship, producing a very, very strong lap time. Ocon goes fifth with an unrepresentative lap time of 1:52.1. So he'll need to go again. Wild Dog fifth with 1:37.9. Not quick enough, unfortunately. He'll have to go again. There is Common Bath through turn 14 in the AlphaTauri. He's also on the mediums. Becco goes fifth with 1:36.5. We've got an Aston Martin heading over the line as well. That's Carlos Killo on the soft compound. 1:36.9 is not a very quick time. Definitely not quick enough. Common Bath heading over the line now in the AlphaTauri for 1:36.7. Only good enough for sixth. So it's a tenuous position, I would say, for him to get through on that. So he'll probably need to do a cool down lap and go again on that medium compound if he's to get through. Ocon over 3/10 down by sector 2, but the third sector is where he made the mistake before. He nearly dropped it again on the exit of the slalom chicane. Just inside the track limits though. Now there's some traffic coming up for Ocon actually. They're going through turns 20 and 21 now, but he should be okay actually. Oh, he's off the track there, is Ocon, and his lap time's gone. So he'll have to come back into the pit lane, and he's going to have to go onto a set of softs, I would imagine. Jackson goes top with 1:35.7, nearly a tenth faster than what Dixon had posted. Big Balls is out on circuit in the Ferrari. He's coming into turn 8. And he's got the AlphaTauri of... Is that Common Bath that's ahead of him? Yes, it is. He's trying to get a toe off it. As he approaches sector 2, 58.2 by this stage of the lap is good on the mediums. Now, ideally needs to be in a high 1:35, does Big Balls. I think anything less than, well, anything slower than that will put him in a precarious situation. To really fight through there through turns 17 and 18. Turn 20 through there, no problem. He approaches the last turn over the line. It's 1:36.4. It's only good enough for P7. So Big Balls in big trouble at the moment because I don't think he's going to be able to get through on that. He's now just been demoted to 8th and now 9th because Pimas has gone faster than before. He's gone up to 7th place. Mikey's gone up to 4th. So Big Balls in big trouble right now. He needs to find something from somewhere if he is to get through into Q3 at this rate. Batescouse is out on the circuit as well. He's one of 2 drivers yet to post a lap time at all. Berry's the other driver who is currently stopping in the pits. He's probably just going to go for that one run, which he's going to do on the soft compounds. He's not bothering to go out there on the mediums. He's probably saving that for the race later. So those in the bottom 5 at the moment are Carlos Killer, Wild Dog, Ocon, Fate Scouser and Bowie. Common Bath is the driver at risk on a 1:36.7. Now Big Balls will probably be thinking about the championship at this rate. He's 72 points clear of Dixon, and we are hearing rumours that Dixon may not be able to compete in one of the remaining 2 rounds. I hope that's not the case because I like to see the championship go down to the last race in Jeddah, but that may not be the case. But let's see how Big Balls gets on here in Abu Dhabi. He may do enough to seal the championship, providing he outscores Dixon by 13 points. If he was to do that, he would ideally want to win, get pole position and the fastest lap, and for Dixon to be 3rd or lower. But if he does not get pole position or the fastest lap, but wins the race, he would need Dixon to ideally finish 4th. Or 5th, rather. He's gone for another spin as Big Balls on his latest flying lap, so this is not helping him one bit. There are just under 6 minutes remaining, and I doubt he's going to be able to improve. He's going to be reluctant to go onto the soft compound to get through into Q3 on. Here's Fate Scouser, who's in the final sector now, on the clear racetrack. He's coming through. Turns 20 and now 21. He's about to head over the line for 1:36.7. Only good enough for 10th. So that is definitely not going to be quick enough, I don't think, for Fate Scouts to get through on that. Now, Ocon's out on the mediums. Probably went back into the pit lane just to add a little bit more fuel in to make sure he got a run this time around. He's 100th up from before through sector 1. And coming through sector 2 is in the DRS zone there. He should be on for a low 58 by the stage. It's a 58.5. He's nearly 4/10 down. So Ocon on the brink here. He's coming into the last sector, which is where he's had his spin. So this is a very much needed lap here for Ocon. Otherwise, he may not have time to get into the pits, get softs on, back out again, and cross over the line to start a flying lap on the softs before the checker flag comes out. He's into turn 20. Now 21. Ocon over the line for 1:36.6. Pushes Fate Scouser into the drop zone, but only goes 10th fastest. So Ocon is going to have to really, really fight for it here. He may decide to do another lap on the mediums. Into sector 1, 8 thousandths down from before. Fate Scouser improving through sector 2, but he's dropped it! And keeps his Alfa Romeo out of the wall, which is good to see. But he's probably going to be out of qualifying now at this rate. He may decide to just nip into the pit lane. But that'll be a penalty coming his way if he was to do that, because he'll be driving around the wrong way on the circuit. And Ocon's exceeded track limits, unfortunately, so he's not going to be improving on this lap. We'll go to Wild Dog because he's just started the flying lap now. He's on the softs. A 1:37.9 is what he posted on the mediums, which is very slow. So he needs to find all the time he can find on this lap. 2/10 up by sector 1 from before. Now, ideally, he'll want to be aiming for a high 1:35. He needs to find 2 seconds on this lap to stand any chance of getting through into Q3. Ocon has decided to retire from the session. In fact, he's crashed out on circuit, so Ocon not going any further in qualifying now. It's likely he was going to be knocked out anyway, but he's dropped it on the exit of turn 19. I've seen him crash into the barrier. So that's that. Medium set going. And Wild Dog is half a second up by sector 2. And he exits turn 14. Dixon has retired from the session also. He's pretty much safe into Q3, I would reckon, on the mediums anyway. Here's Wild Dog, who really needs a strong effort here. Coming out of the last turn. His time only good enough for 13. So not even making it into the top 10 with that time for him. Fate Scouser is out of qualifying now. He's not going to be going through. Carlos Killer on a flying lap in the Aston Martin. Now, I think he got a bit of a tow from the Alfa Romeo ahead. His teammate Smolly's decided to retire from this session. So Carlos Killer, who did very well last week in Belgium. He's into sector 2. I didn't quite pick up on his sector time through there. I do now, actually. It's 7/10. So Carlos Killer, at the moment, is looking on course for a low 36. That'll put him in the realms of where Mikey and Smalley are. He's still got one more. Oh, he's exceeded track limits at turn 18. He's ruined that lap. So he'll have to go again. He's got time to get over the line. But this is not an ideal situation for him now. He really needs to get on this here and not exceed the track limits. His lap time would not have been good enough anyway. It would have been good enough. He would have put him in 10th place. But there are drivers improving on circuit. And Wild Dog has had an accident on the exit of turn 19. Debris all over the racetrack. He's now out of qualifying most certainly. I think he was trying to get round over the line in time, but that's not going to happen now. Common Bath, meanwhile, is improving. He's aiming for a place in Q3 at this rate. First time competing. Heads over the line, and it's a 1:36.5 for him, and it's good enough to put in 10th. So Fates, as we know, is out. Wild Dog also out. Carlos Killer is not on an improvement, so he's also out of qualifying. So either Bowie or Common Bath will join Ocon, Fates Scouser, Wild Dog, and Carlos Killer on the sidelines. Bowie heading through. It's a 1:36.1, goes fourth, and Common Bath is eliminated. So Big Balls scraping into Q3 on the mediums by the skin of his teeth. A very, very lucky man. He's not on a fast lap here anyway, so he doesn't need to be going any quicker. Pimis is also ducked into the pits. He knows he can get through on the mediums as well. And Carlos Killer also making his way back into the pit lane. So the 5 drivers we lose at the end of Q2, they are Common Bath, Ocon, Fate Scouser, Wild Dog, and the man in your picture, Carlos Killer, only 15th on the grid. He'll be disappointed with that. And so that concludes Q2. Jackson fastest, Dixon in P2, and Ricky in 3rd. The only driver getting through on the soft compound is Bowie, but we expected him to get through on the softs. There was no chance of him, I don't think, getting through on the mediums. So there are your 5 drivers in red: Common Bath, Ocon, Fate Scouser, Wild Dog, and Carlos Killer out of qualifying. The top 10 go through into Q3. We'll be back for the final part to see who will be on pole here in Abu Dhabi. Welcome back to the final part of qualifying. We've got 10 drivers battling it out for pole position. So this should be a very, very exciting Q3 session. And Dixon heading out of the pits. Jackson also heading out ahead of him. Jackson, who has been called in as a reserve tonight. Also looking to impress. I think we're going to be in for quite a fight for pole position here, and of course the race later on. There's going to be quite a few different strategies, I think. Drivers will try something slightly different to what others do, even if they are starting on the same compounds. So we've got 9 drivers on circuit now. Berry's the only driver who's not come out of the pits yet. I don't know whether he'll just do the one run. I think what a few of the drivers decide to do is wait for a gap in the traffic before they make their move. I think Berry's heading out on circuit now. I think he just waited until there was a clear gap ahead of him before he made his move. So we've got all 10 drivers out on circuit now, which is great to see. Now, some of them who are out on circuit will need to back off a little bit just to give themselves some space and not get caught out by the turbulent air of the car ahead, which can compromise the downforce and front tyre grip. So Jackson preserving his ERS for the start of this flying lap then in Q3 as he heads over the line. How is he through turn 1 here? Well, I'll tell you something, Dixon has crashed out on the start-finish straight, so Dixon will not start the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on pole position, and Jackson is not going to go quick this time around because he's just spun as well. So Dixon's crashed out of qualifying. Jackson has spun on the exit of turn 3. So the advantage seems to be handed over to Big Balls. Dixon will start what will probably be 10th on the grid now. He's leaving himself with a whole load of work to do in the race later. So here's Ricky in the AlphaTauri, who's managed to keep his car out of trouble so far. And we'll go to Big Balls next because he's the next driver who'll be over the line after Ricky. Ricky's posted a 57.8. And Big Balls, meanwhile, has posted a 58.0. So not as quick as what Ricky was posting. So there's Ricky coming through turn 17 and 18. Went deep on the curves there. Could have dropped him into the barrier there. He heads over the line for 1:35.2. That's very, very quick. Goes to the top. We've got Big Balls heading over the line as well. It's only a 1:35.5. So Big Balls not on provisional pole at the moment. Jackson heading over the line with a non-representative lap time. We've got Pimis next in the Alfa Romeo. 1:35.8 for him. So he goes behind Big Balls. And next we've got Becco in the Alpine, whose lap time was invalidated for track limits, so he's having to go again. It's the same for Smalley as well. Lewis is back in the pits, so we'll just look at Berry next because he's probably going to be the next driver over the line with a decent lap time. So he's coming through turn 20 and now 21, and I think he'll quick time 1:37.1. It's not very fast for Jack. So at least he goes fourth. He's got a time on the board. Smalley's exceeded track limits on his latest lap, so he won't be setting a lap time anytime soon. Becco, meanwhile, is desperate to get a lap time on the board. Who was good here a couple of seasons back was Becco, who got a podium finish in Tier 1 in the season finale here, albeit in that dramatic final lap that saw Turenbach crash out from the lead with only one corner remaining. Becco with a 58.3, which is not the quickest, to be honest with you. He's run about half a second slower than what Ricky had posted by this stage of the lap. So he's probably looking at beating Pimis at this rate. We've got 6.5 minutes remaining, and Ricky's ahead by 0.3. So Becco heading over the line now, and it's a 1:36.0, only good enough for fifth fastest, so he goes behind Pumis as a result of that. Well, Bowie's going on for another lap here. He's got some ERS still in store. It was a mistake through turn 17, which won't have helped. Is he finding enough time on this lap? Not 100% sure. Jack may decide to just duck into the pits at the end of this lap. Yeah, he does so. He knew he wasn't going to go any quicker than before, so he's into the pits now. I think Jackson's come back out on circuit. Is that on his new set? No, it's his old set, actually. Or maybe just carried on. He did a cool-down lap, I think, and then waited until he started his new one. It's coming into sector 2 now. It's a 58.2, which is not particularly quick in comparison to what he posted last time. In fact, his time, his latest fast lap, had put him 0.003 of a second behind Ricky. So he didn't quite pick up on that, but Jackson is now on the front row next to Ricky. So who's going to be the next driver coming out on circuit? Because both Alpines that are on track are on slow down laps. Well, Becco's had a spin, actually, at the slalom chicane, so he'll be back in the pits very, very shortly. So it's advantage Ricky at the moment. So Jackson into the pits. And it looks like Smolly's gone back out on circuit now, so he'll have a track to himself for the time being. We'll just look to see who else is making their way out on track now. It doesn't appear to be anyone at this moment in time. So Smolly is looking to go quicker. Well, he hasn't posted a lap time yet, but given his genuine pace, he's in the running for pole. He's just giving himself some space, not rush it too much. He's got all the time he needs before he starts his flying lap. We've seen one of the Alpines out of the pit lane now. That'll be Jackson. I would have thought, is that Becco heading out on circuit? No, it is Jackson. So he's also joined by Big Balls, who is sitting in third place. He'll be feeling comfortable at the moment with Dixon down in 10th. He will not be going back out again. Now, Smolly just needs to be careful here. He needs to think about traffic ahead, potentially. He's coming around to start a lap now in the Aston Martin. So through the first corner, it wasn't particularly great. Ran wide a little bit. Into turn 3. Keeps his car pointing the right way, no drifting or anything like that. It's a 17.3 by sector 1, which is fairly decent. Rides over the curves, which is not ideal. I think he's backed out of this lap. He knows that ride over the curves has just cost him. So he won't be going quick on this occasion. He's got time to get round, recharge the battery and go again. He can burn off some fuel as well whilst he's at it if he wants to. Give himself a faster machine next time round. So who's the next driver over the line? That'll be Jackson, who's about to start what will probably be his final attempt. So here he starts his lap. Big Bell's also beginning his lap in the Ferrari. And let's see how Jackson gets on through sets of 1. His turning point into 2 wasn't particularly the greatest. He's into turn 5 and 6. He's half a tenth up from before, so far so good for Jackson. DRS open for him. Down the long back straight. beautiful scenery here in terms of the infrastructure around this racetrack in Abu Dhabi. And Jackson exiting the chicane. DRS is open. And now as he heads towards the second sector where his time will be clocked, 57.6. He's a tenth and a half up by sector 2. So Jackson looking very, very strong here to take pole position away from Ricky as it stands. We'll go to Big Balls next, who is just going through turn 14 at the moment. There's a yellow flag. That'll be an AlphaTauri going for a spin, but it's recovered. So Jackson is okay. There's a Mercedes ahead. That'll be Mikey. And he's heading over the line now. Jackson, is this lap good enough to put him on provisional pole? Yes, it is. It's a 1:34.9. The first driver into the 1:34s. Jackson on provisional pole at Yas Marina. Big Boss over the line. Goes onto the front row of the grid. It's a 1:35.0. So a good lap time there for him. Becco next up for Alpine. Good lap time here so far for him. Goes up to 4th. So Becco on form here so far. And it looks like Lewis is the next driver over the line for Red Bull. It's a 1:36.0. Only good enough for 6th fastest. He'll be disappointed with that. Next up is Smolly, who's lost it. Front wing gone for him. So he'll start 9th on the grid. And the next driver over the line will be Bowie in the Haas. The checker flag has fallen. So anyone on a fast lap can complete it. I think Bowie at the moment is probably looking at 8th at best. But let's see. So into turn 19. Nicely done there through turn 20. Turn 21 gets through without any issues. Over the line, goes 5th. Nicely done there from Jack Bowie. Up to 5th place in the Haas. Just behind Becco in 4th. Pimis next in the Alfa Romeo. He could displace Bowie if he pulls out a blinding final sector. It's a 1:35.6. He pushes Bowie down to 6th place with that time. Mikey's next behind in the Mercedes. It's a 1:35.6. Goes up to 5th place. So Bowie down to 7th as a result of that. Jackson not improving. Big Balls, can he get over the line and back onto the front? He goes to pole. Big Balls finding a bundle of time on his final flying lap to snatch pole position away by Jackson. From Jackson, I should say. But Big Balls bags a championship point that takes him a step closer to the championship trophy in Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League. He is on pole. Jackson alongside him for Alpine. Next, Ricky and Becco on the second row with Mikey and Pimis next up. Bowie and Lewis are 7th and 8th with Smolly and Dixon not same lap times at all. Dixon down in 10th. To make matters worse, his championship rival Big Balls is on pole, gets a championship point to his name, which means that Big Balls only needs 12 more points, more than Dixon, to wrap up the championship here tonight. That was a brilliant qualifying session. I enjoyed that. Can the race live up to it? So we've got 19 drivers. May have the extra one just to make up the numbers for tonight, but I just hope all the drivers are back in time for the race, particularly those that were knocked out in Q1 and Q2. So here we go then for the start of the formation lap. We do have 19 drivers in. So here's your grid. Big Balls on pole. Jackson alongside it's Ricky and Becco on the second row. Mikey and Pimis are next behind in 5th and 6th. Bowie and Lewis on row 4. Smalley and Dixon line up next to each other on row number 5. Keep an eye on those two at the beginning of the race. Commonbath and Ocon are next in 11th and 12th. Fake Scouser and Wild Dog in 13th and 14th. Colors Killer and Lynx on row 8. Statistic King and Jack are on row 9. At the back, we've got Warrior Huntsman in 19th place. So, Bowie and Lynx are the only drivers starting on softs. All the others are on mediums. So, with that being the case, I would expect there is going to be just the one-stop strategy for those starting on the mediums, unless some may decide to go a little bit more aggressive, but we'll see later on. Now, Big Balls will be focusing on the lights ahead. If he wins tonight in Abu Dhabi, then Dixon must finish second to mathematically keep the championship going to Bahrain. But it's very much in Big Balls' court now to wrap up the title here. Let's see how Dixon gets on through the field. It's a great effort by Ricky to get himself up into 3rd position. Mikey will be thinking about the lights as well. He'll be thinking about his position in the championship. 3rd, he currently sits. So 28 laps lie ahead of the drivers. And Big Balls will be thinking carefully about what to do at the start. Even if he gets overtaken by Jackson, he just needs to keep his nose clean. Do not do anything silly. Do not take any unnecessary risks. The race is not won at the first corner or the first lap, but your race can most certainly get destroyed if you get it horribly, horribly wrong. So all 19 drivers are back on the grid then for the start of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League. 3 races to go, 2 drivers in the running. Is Big Balls going to be crowned champion tonight? We await for those 5 red lights. Here they come. When they go out, we'll be racing. It's lights out, and away we go. Big Balls gets off to a good start, but Jackson gets away better though. So Jackson in front before they get into turn 1. Becco on the inside of Ricky. He's up into 3rd place. Great start from both Alpine drivers. They are up to 1st and 3rd places. So Big Balls is dropping down to 2nd place. Becco is 3rd. Ricky 4th. That Mikey is up to 5th. Smalley making a good start from 9th to 6th in the Aston Martin. Lewis is in 7th place, followed by Pimis. Dixon is upper place into 9th. Bowie in 10th. I think Dixon's made up another couple of places. A spinner at the back. And it's Smalley who's gone round in the Aston Martin. So Smalley, after a disappointing qualifying session, has got a bit all to do between now and the end of the race. So Jackson ahead then, trying to break the toe of the Ferrari of Big Balls. Big Balls thinks about a move on the inside, doesn't go for it. So Jackson in the lead. And Big Balls will be looking to keep up with him. There's a long way to go yet in this one. Becco holding a good position there in 3rd, ahead of Ricky. Great launch there from both Alpine drivers, Becco particularly actually. And Ricky on the inside of Becco. Does he get through? Contact made. Wheels banging between the Alpine and the AlphaTauri, but nothing more than that. Bit of contact behind. I think Dixon made contact with the Alfa Romeo of Pimis. I hope that has not damaged the front wing there. We could be seeing a few pit stops, I think, at the end of this lap. Lewis going side by side with Bowie. We saw an accident here in a Formula Regional Asia race at the weekend that ended rather horribly. And we're seeing Mikey go right round the outside there of Ricky, who I think may have front wing damage. And Mikey nearly dropping it on the exit of turn 19. They're all getting through turn 20 there to get it horrible, and there could be tears at the end of this one. And it looks like Pimis has got through into 4th place. Dixon going toe-to-toe with the Mercedes a little bit there. He's through into 6th place. He's got past the Red Bull actually of Lewis. And Ricky's in the pit. So is Statistic King. So is Ocon. And so is Wild Dog. So 4 drivers in the pits at the end of lap 1. Make that 5 because Smalley is also in. So Jackson ahead of Big Balls. And Becco is in 3rd place. Hoping to make up ground on these 2 ahead. And Pimis ahead of Mikey Pumis having a better qualifying than expected, actually. But he's doing very, very well. Good start from him. Very clean start. He's up there in 4th place. Dixon is in 6th. He needs to get ahead of these guys as soon as he can. There's no DRS, of course, for the first 2 laps. Dixon nearly running to the back there of the Mercedes of Mikey. Will they both survive? And can he get a run on him? He's using his overtake to get a run on the Mercedes into the slipstream. Pulls out alongside. Down the inside goes the Williams. And he gets through in. So Dixon off a place. Pumis ahead in 4th place. 3 seconds behind Becco is the Alfa Romeo. So Dixon needs to pass Pumis, I would say, by the end of the next lap to keep up with the leaders. Having a fantastic drive so far. Excellent, excellent job. He did have a bit of contact with Pumis on the previous lap, but seems to have survived that without too much damage. And it looks like, well, it looks like Becco went into the pits there. Jackson with a new fastest lap. That lap time will most certainly come down as the race progresses. And we are now on lap number 3. Dixon taking that fast lap point away from Jackson. The DRS has now been enabled. Pumis running wide on the exit of turn 1. That won't help. Fake Scouser into the pits for Alfa Romeo. So he has picked up damage somewhere. And so he'll be falling down the order most certainly. So Dixon behind Pumis. He'll have the DRS most certainly. He needs to get past the Alfa Romeo as soon as he can. But the thing is, if he passes him on this straight, Pumis will probably have the DRS on the next straight. So Dixon needs to think smart here and actually decide whether he wants to go down the inside on this occasion. He decides not to. He waits for the next DRS zone. So Dixon waits for the second DRS zone, opens the rear wing into the slipstream, pulls to the inside of the Alfa Romeo, and he is through into 4th place. So from 10th, Dixon has made his way up into 4th place within 3 laps. Next one ahead is Becco, who's another 3 seconds up the road. And Dixon can start getting the power down now. The top 3 very, very close at the moment. But Dixon will be joining them very, very shortly, given his genuine pace. And Feixiauser is in 18th place now, just ahead of Smalley. Smalley will be within DRS range to have a go. I think Feixiauser may have the DRS. He's just battling with Wild Dog. Sends one to the inside. And he is through into 17th place, is he? Wild Dog doesn't give it up. He nearly drops it, and Smalley goes through as well. And Commonbath just getting ahead of Jack for 12th place. And Jack is into the pits, actually, presumably with damage. So Jackson ahead. Big balls behind, there is Becco. And someone spun. Is that Smalley who's gone for a spin? It is. That's yet another spin for him. And I think this is going to spell a retirement for him. He's just cut the corner there, so that could give an indication that he'll be pitting at the end of this lap and drop out of this. Big balls, DRS open on the inside, and he takes the lead of the race from Jackson. But Jackson will have the DRS at the next DRS zone. Now he'll pull into the stream, most certainly. Smalley retires. That's a very disappointing end to his race. It's been a disastrous beginning for him and qualifying as well. Jackson fighting back on the inside, and he's back into the lead again. So Big Balls probably should have waited until the second DRS zone to pull off the move on the Alpine. And he's running wide though. Won't want to be doing that too many times, otherwise a penalty will be dished out to him. So there's your top 3 nose to tail. Becco doing a really good job actually. He's actually keeping up with these two. So he's clearly set up the car nicely for this race. Clearly been practicing whilst he's been away. It's been a few races actually since he was last involved in the Formula Racing League of any sort, but he's very much coming on form here tonight, most certainly. Dixon closing in on these guys. 2.6 behind Becco. Bearing in mind, Becco would have been using the DRS at the DRS zones, which would have helped him pull away from Dixon a little bit, and it should be the same on this lap. So Big Balls in second position, and Lewis is out. Lewis out of the race in the Red Bull on the exit of turn 3, and the safety car has been deployed. That is good news for all those at the back of the field, but Lewis has dropped it on the exit of turn 2 into the wall, and his race is over prematurely. We're on that 5 of the race, and it's a good time for pit stops to be done. And I wonder if Wild Dog will come into the pits. No, he doesn't. I don't think Jack will do either, unless he decides he wants to get a set of mediums on. He's into the pits at the end of this lap, so we'll see how he gets on. Now, just because the safety car is deployed does not mean you can go at race pace. The drivers have to adhere to the delta. Anyone who exceeds it will get a drive-through penalty, which they cannot take under the safety car. They can only take that under green flag conditions. Jack rejoins in 17th place. It'll be now by the time he rejoins the track. So just got to be careful not to exceed the delta whilst he does catch up to the rest of the field. Now, what will this mean then for the leaders? What will they decide to do? Now, I think if Jackson decides to stay out, I reckon Big Balls will come in to change tyres. Now, he's leaving himself some space, actually, his Big Balls, because he wants to see whether the Alpine does come into the pits or not at the end of this lap. So Jackson comes into the pits, as does Big Balls. Becco stays out, unsurprisingly, otherwise he'd have been waiting behind his teammate. So he's going to lead the field under the safety car. Dixon also staying out. He's in second place. So Dixon, I would imagine, will go onto a one-stop strategy, whilst Jackson has just gone into a set of softs. He'll be thinking about going on a more aggressive strategy. So Dixon needs to get a good restart here. Warrior Huntsman also staying out. He's got nothing to lose at the moment, so he's a different strategy to what a lot of the field. So Jackson rejoins in 5th, had a Big Balls. Common Bath has stayed out. Permis rejoins in 8th place. Mikey is now 9th. Bowie is in 10th. Ocon getting ahead there of Statistic King into 11th. Links in 13th. Fake Scouts ahead of Wild Dog with Ricky coming back in for another set of mediums. He rejoins in 16th position. He'll be in the pits later on, but at least he's now back in the fight. So Becco in the lead. Podium finish here, a couple of seasons back. So Dixon waiting behind Becco in the fight for P1. And the safety car will stay out for another lap. And by the end of the next lap, the safety car should be coming back in. So we're on lap 6 of this race. Becco leading. The reason why we're under safety car, in case you are wondering why we are under it, is because of Lewis's crash on the exit of turn 2. So his race is over, as well as Smalley, who ducked into the pits. I was surprised that Smalley didn't choose to carry on, because he would have caught up to the back of this field. But another victory goes begging for him. And Lewis just coming in saying that he had a loose back end and lost it at turn 3. So he coming with his explanation. It doesn't change the fact that he's out of the race. So Lewis, who went into the race 14th with 36 points, is not going to be added into that tally today. The likes of Jack, Wild Dog and Warrior Huntsman could overtake him. And maybe Becco as well. Now, Becco only has 4 points to his name this season. He has missed a lot of races. He can most certainly get up a few positions by the end of this race. Everyone has caught up. So the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap. There's Collis Killer, who's in 3rd. He's yet to stop. Now, the top 4 have yet to stop in this race, as has Common Bath. He's going on a one-stop strategy, I would think. although I could be wrong. He may decide to go on 2 stints of the soft compound. We'll have to wait and see. It could also depend on whether the safety car comes out again. So the safety car is coming in at the end of the lap. There's confirmation from race control. And Beco will dictate the pace and will go when he is ready to do so. Now, as it stands with Big Balls Wells in 6th place and Dixon in 2nd, the championship would not be clinched today for Big Balls, but there's still a long way to go yet. We're only 25% of the way through. There's a lot of action still to come. So Beco giving himself some space so he doesn't catch up to the safety car. And no one can overtake him until the start-finish line. Now Dixon needs to stay with him. It looks like Beco has gone. And it's a fairly good restart from the Bulgarian. So he's over the line to start lap number 8. In the lead, and it looks like Jackson's just got in front of Warrior Huntsman straight away. So he's now up into 4th place. The next one ahead of him is Carlos Killer. And now Dixon will be looking to make a move on Beco here. This is important for him. He needs to get past him to make the most of his one-stop strategy. Beco runs wide a little bit to help him get a better exit onto the back straight. Jackson's through into 3rd place now, ahead of Carlos Killer. He'll be getting into the slipstream and possibly fighting back. Big Boss also passing Warrior Huntsman to move up into 5th. Now, is Dixon going to go for it into turn number 8? The answer is no. He can get into the slipstream of the Alpine through the kink of 10 and pull alongside as they come towards turn 11. In fact, he's got his nose in front already as Dixon. So he's through into the lead, is the Williams driver. That's a very important move. Now he's got a chance to pull away. Now, if I was Beco, I'd let his teammate through. In fact, he's done that. So Beco going wide there, a little bit unusual going that far wide, but he's allowed his teammate through. So he doesn't get involved in the fight for the race win. Now, Big Balls will want to move in front of Carlos Killer here. Big Balls over the line in 4th place. He's just gone past Carlos Killer right round the outside. That was a nice move. Pimis also making a move on Warrior Huntsman round the outside into turn 1, and he's done it. So Pimis on form today in the Alfa Romeo. It's a very nice clean move. There is Big Balls approaching Beco. Oh, Beco spun into the wall. He's out. So after a gritting performance from Beco, he has dropped it on the exit of turn 3. The safety car is out again. Beco's race goes no further. What a disaster for him. In form tonight, out on the exit of turn 3, pushed too hard on the exit. So Dixon's still in the lead at the moment. Now, if I was him, I would consider pitting at the end of this lap to get a set of the hard compound tyres on. But needs to make sure he sticks to the delta. No one can overtake. As Dixon pulls here, Big Balls is up to 3rd place now in the Ferrari, thanks to Dixon's spin into the barrier. What can he do? Will he think about the championship being wrapped up here, or will he be thinking about wrapping it up in Bahrain next week? Mikey almost like he's got ahead of Commonbath there, but Commonbath must have overtaken him under the yellow flags or something. So, in fact, Jackson and Dixon coming in at the same time. So I think Jackson is going to copy what Dixon does here. Big Boss also coming in. Carlos Killer decides to stay out, and it seems though Mikey is being penalised for overtaking under the safety car. So he's been given a 5-second time penalty. Warren Huntsman exceeding track limits. Very silly to get under the safety car. You should never get track limit penalties under the safety car. So the safety car will be staying out for a couple of laps. Carlos Hiller in the lead. Warrior Huntsman second. Then it's Mikey ahead of Bowie in third and fourth. Fake Scouser fifth. Ricky is in sixth place in the AlphaTauri. Jack is seventh. Wild Dog eighth. Dixon ninth on the hard compound. Jackson in 10th place on the mediums. Now, I doubt that Jackson will get to the end of the race on the mediums. He could do, but Dixon will be on better tyres towards the end. Big Bell's also on the medium compound, so he's got a fight on his hands. Pimis in 12th, Common Bar 13th on the hard tyres. Citizen King 14th on the mediums. Offcoms in 15th on the softs. In 15th on the softs, I should say. And Links in 16th place on the mediums. So the safety car deployed for the second time. And Carlos Killer is in the lead, but has yet to stop. But I suppose the more safety car laps we have, the better it will be for Carlos Killer in terms of options as to what tyres he'll go on for the end of the race. Now, if he stays in the lead, he may decide to bridge out a gap or bridge out the stint for when he puts the softs on. And if we get another safety car period, he may do that. If he can go to around about lap 16 or 17, and we get a safety car period then, he may switch to the softs for the last stint. Now, Mikey will be thinking carefully about what he's going to do. Now, he probably won't want to pick this up because he'll fall too far behind in terms of where he is. He'll probably have to take his 5 seconds at his next pit stop. He'll probably be pitting again before this race is over, if I'm honest with you, but he may not do. So 3 drivers out of the race. Becco, Lewis and Smalley are the casualties of this race. 16 still surviving. Kyle's Killer will be thinking carefully about what to do on the restart. Been in good form recently. His recent run of form has moved him up to 9th in the Constructors. In the Drivers' Championship, I should say. I don't know why it's Constructors there. But he's on 71 points behind Liverpool Fan in 8th, who's on 83. And Fake Scouser is running in 5th place on the road. Now he's already pitted once. The only drivers who have not pitted at all are Carlos Killer and Warrior Huntsman, who are running in 1st and 2nd. So the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap, and Carlos Killer will back up the pack, and he will go when he feels is best. He's just got to be careful he doesn't go too soon, because otherwise slow down, and that could cause all sorts of problems behind. So he needs to think smart. No DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, so Carlos Killer could have a good buffer before the DRS is enabled. So the Aston Martin safety car will go in, and the Aston Martin of Carlos Killer. So Carlos Killer decides to wait. He has not gone yet. He decides to wait until the last moment. He's gone now. So he's ahead. Oh, he's dropped it nearly, and Warrior Huntsman sees an opportunity to move in front, but he's got Mikey alongside. Mikey thinks about a move to the outside into turn 1. Mikey cannot make the move stick. He could complete a switchback though as they come towards turn 2. Mikey backs out of it and Wyson so otherwise there would have been contact. So Carlos Killer leads on the restart. Warrior Huntsman trying to fend off Mikey behind. Mikey to the outside into the chicane and he's through. But Warrior Huntsman goes off the track. Warrior Huntsman off the racetrack and Mikey is into second place. Barry is now third in the Haas, followed by Fate Scouser and Ricky. Dixon ahead of Wild Dog, and it looks like Jackson's trying to make a move on the Mercedes ahead, and he gets through also. So Jackson, we think about a move on the Williams, but Wild Dog is trying to fight back. Now he's entitled to do this. He is fighting for position with the Alpine after all. He goes to the outside, and Jackson gets through, and Big Boss is run out wide by the Mercedes, and I think statistically may get past the Ferrari also. So Big Boss, oh, it's coming together. That is the McLaren off the track and into the wall. Damage on Ocon's car. It's a disaster for McLaren. Ocon into the wall, and we've got damage everywhere. That is Pimis also making contact. His front wing's gone, as is the McLaren. Ocon will be in the pits shortly. The Carlos Killer still in the race lead, but Mikey's right behind him as they come into turn 19. And Jackson is now ahead of Dixon. So Jackson is ahead of the Williams of Dixon as they come towards the end of the first lap of the restart. But Dixon's got damage, it seems. I think he has. He's coming into the pits. So Dixon's championship charge has taken a big dent as Big Boss is now back into 9th place. But Dixon's race is wrecked. And as we watch Carlos Killer and Mikey go into battle for the race lead once more. Mike waits behind. There's no DRS, remember. And Berry will be looking to take advantage of a mistake from these two. And Ocon has decided to retire from the race. So he's the next to go from this. No need for a safety car, of course. Mikey into the slipstream of Carlos Killer. And he's going to pull alongside on the inside. And this is going to be a change of the lead. And Mikey gets past, no problem it seems. Carlos Killer out onto the curb, and that's going to give Berry a good run on this second back straight. Berry to the inside, and he's through into second place. So Berry gets past the Aston Martin. He goes through, and can he go after Mikey for the race lead? And Jackson still behind Jack at the moment. He thought about a move there, but that would have been one risk too many had he gone for it. And he's now on the inside there as Jack has just made a mistake on the exit of turn 17. Jackson right out onto the curbs. The two make contact, and Jackson needs to make sure he keeps his nose clean. And there's Statistic King next behind as Jack nearly drops it on the exit of the penultimate turn. The DRS is enabled once more. And Dixon is running in 13th place now, so with Big Balls running in 9th place, which would net him, I believe it's 10 points for that, because it's 40 points for a win, 32 for second, 26 for third, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10. So it would still not be enough for Big Balls to take the championship at this rate. Oh, he nearly drops it on the exit of the hairpin there, but at least there's no one directly behind him to take advantage. He's got the DRS. We're just looking at Jackson because he's also got the DRS. Fake Scouser getting past Ricky, it seems. I think they both just got through on Carlos Killer, and Ricky's got past the pair of them before they get to turn 8. So Ricky fights his way back towards the front. He's now in 3rd place in the AlphaTauri. Berry's got DRS as we watch Fate Scouser make a move on Carlos Killer. They've both got the DRS. And it looks like Jackson's got through on Jack as Statistic King gets past the Williams also. So, a Big Boss, did he hit the back of the Williams, I wonder? No, I think it's Jack that's hit the back of Statistic King. So Jack, the latest to get damage to his front wing, and Big Balls will go through shortly. So Jackson behind Fate Scouser in the battle for 5th. Now Jackson's not in the fight for the championship, he's just serving as a reserve tonight. He makes contact with the Alfa Romeo though, so he won't like that for one bit. Oh, Berry's out! Jack Berry has crashed out in the Haas from 2nd place! Would you believe it? That's a bad error there from the Brits. He's out of the race, and the safety car is deployed for the third time in a space of 7 or 8 laps. Berry's best chance of a podium finish this season has gone out of the window. Mikey's in the lead again, and at least it's good news for Dixon, who can now catch up to the rest of the field again. Now the field has just gone past the safety car, so they'll all have to adhere to the Delta. So Berry's race has ended in the barrier on the exit of the penultimate turn. We've got drivers into the pits for new tyres. They are Jack and Warrior Huntsman. I think that's Warrior Huntsman's first pit stop of the race, actually, so he'll be able to take advantage of that. He needs to go past the safety car because it's not caught up with the leader. But Berry's race is ended in retirement. He'll be kicking himself. He knows he had a chance of a podium finish, and it's gone begging for him. So Colin Barth in 14th place. He'll catch up to the field as well. Now, if you're Mikey, what do you do? And Carlos Killer still hasn't pitted yet in this race. We're now on lap 15. And I think he's going to be reluctant to come into the pits. Now, he cannot go onto the mediums. Well, he could if he wanted to, but that would mean he'll have to pit in again before the end. So I think he's going to have to go onto a set of softs. Or maybe a set of hards just to get him through to the end. So Mikey comes into the pits now. Ricky also in. Carlos Killer also coming into the pit. Facegasser comes in. Jackson stays out, which is no surprise. And Statistic King also remaining out there in the Red Bull. Big Bell's going up into 3rd place now. I'm just thinking, where are these guys going to rejoin when they do come back out? Now this is going to make for a tasty restart because drivers are on fresh softs in comparison to those on oddish mediums. Those on the softs are going to have a tyre advantage on the restart. They're going to go aggressive like anything. And they need to be to make the tyres last. Either to make the tyres last or to make the strategy work. I think Dixon's in the pits again. He's gone onto a set of softs. I think he waited an extra lap actually before he came into the pits. But he's back out on the set of softs now in 14th place. So as it stands, with Big Balls running in 3rd and Dixon in 14th, it would be enough for Big Balls to clinch the championship. But there's still so much time for everything to change. It really is anyone's game for the victory now. Just see Mikey's got a track limits penalty, as is Warrior Huntsman. So those are the only 2 drivers in this race who have penalties to their names. None of the others do. Well, we saw the drama in the season finale 2 seasons ago, where Turinbar lost it on the final lap. Mystic Joker won the race ahead of Becco and Pimis. So Pimis already a podium finisher here in the Formula Racing League. So the safety car will remain out there for at least another lap. And this is helping those on the mediums actually as well, because I don't think Jackson will want to pit again before the race is over. And Jack Bowe just coming and saying, I'm gutted. Genuine chance of a win tonight. Mikey had a pen and I got caught out on the curb. Absolutely gutted. Understandably so. I do sympathise for you, Jack, because that was a great drive up until that point. So we've got 12 laps remaining. There'll be 11 to go once the safety car does come back in. And it seems though Common Bath is in the pits actually. He wants to get a set of the soft compound tyres on. Let's see how he does with this pit stop. Atari doing their work. And Common Bath will be back out on some fresh soft compound tyres. So he'll catch up to the back of the field by the time he gets to the hairpin. And the safety car is in at the end of this lap. And looks like Jackson will back the field up. Good chance of the victory now. He's got track position ahead of him. I think the last thing he wants is another safety car period and drivers behind ducking into the pits for another set of softs. He does not want another safety car period, I'll tell you that now. So we've got 11 laps remaining here in Abu Dhabi. Jackson in the lead. Will he be remaining there by the end of this race? Watch out for Dixon as well, who's in 13th place. He has it all to do to keep his championship hopes alive. And Jackson is just dictating the pace at the moment. And Blinks has been penalised for contact with Jack under the safety car, so both have been penalised for it. 5 seconds it is. Jackson waits for his moment to pull away. He's gone now, and we're back on the way here in Abu Dhabi. Half a second clear of Statistic King as they all go through turn 1. And Pumis has just got past Wild Dog straight away. And there's the field make their way through, and someone's gone round. It's Dixon! Front wing gone. Contact made with another driver, and that could really spell the end of it for him now. Wild Dog going side by side with Common Bath. Jack with another penalty for track limits. And so Dixon's race has taken another dent. And so the field coming round towards turn 8. Statistic King behind Jackson as the field make their way coming out of the chicane. And watch out for those who are on softs, because they'll be coming out the front of the field like rockets here as Ricky goes to the outside of Big Balls as they approach turn number 11. To the outside, has he done the move? Big Balls leaves him space, and he's just been overtaken by Mikey as well, so Big Balls down to 5th place. And there's Colours Killer next behind in the Aston Martin. He wants that position. He wants to be fighting at the front with the likes of Jackson and Statistic King. He wants a podium, does Colours Killer, and to be honest, who can blame him? Now Ricky's behind Statistic King as Jackson will be looking to pull away here. He's over a second clear, so Ricky needs to get past Statistic King as soon as he can. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. Statistic King holding firm in 2nd position, but for how long? It looks like Jack is in the pits. Is he coming together with someone? He's into the pits anyway. So both Williams drivers in the walls. Jack into the pits. And watch all the other drivers making their way coming out of turn number 3. No problem. And watch Ricky and Mikey as they look to make amends on Statistic King in front. Statistic King's able to get a good exit coming out of that. So Ricky's going to have to really fight for it here. They're both using their ERS. Ricky has slightly more ERS installed than the Red Bull. And now they all come down the 2nd back straight. And Colours Killer will be looking to get past Big Balls as soon as he can. Now Mikey has that penalty hanging over him, so he needs to get past Statistic King and Ricky very soon. And Dixon He's coming out of the pits now in last place, but at least he's still on the lead lap. So if you get another safety car, he's back in it again. I think the chance of the safety car looked likely, actually, because of the way Statistic King has been surrounded by Ricky and co. So Statistic King holding second ahead of Ricky. And Jackson, I think, made a mistake coming out of turn 3 there, and he's allowed Statistic King to close back in. Now he's leaving himself in danger of being overtaken by the field. And so Ricky is going to get into the slipstream. Statistic King will have the DRS as well. So Jackson is going to be seriously under threat now. Statistic King's going to pull to the inside. Now Jackson will brave it out, will he, to the outside. Statistic King gets through. I think Ricky's going to take advantage here, get a good exit. He'll get into the slipstream of the Alpine. But what will the Alpine decide to do with Statistic King? Well, he's pulling to the inside again. Statistic King stays in there. Jackson makes contact. He's run over the curves there. And contact for my front wing gone. Is that Mikey's front wing missing, or is that Ricky's? I think it's Mikey's. Well, someone's front wing's missing. Now, is it Big Balls, his front wing, that's been damaged? I'm not 100% sure, but we'll find out in a moment. But Jackson's still in front, for now at least. We've got a fight in our hands for the victory, that's for certain. Statistic just needs to keep up with Jackson and not fall more than a second behind. And Bateshouse gets past Carlos Killer. I think it may be Carlos Killer's front wing that's got damaged, so he's falling back big time. That's a big shame because he's driven so well tonight. He's going to have to hope for another safety car later to get himself back into it. So Statistic King behind Jackson. Big Balls losing it now. They didn't get a good exit coming out of there, did the Ferrari. So Statistic King going to the inside, past Jackson, into the lead again. Now, what does Ricky decide to do? Does he get past as well? He does. He goes to the outside. He could get his elbows out here on the Alpine. He can't do it there. And he's lost out to Mikey as a result of it. So that audacious attempt has cost Ricky, as his teammate Common is out of the race. Common Bath has crashed at turn 10, and the safety car is out for the 4th time. So Common Bath's race has ended in the wall. He's had a coming together with someone, I don't know who. So we are as we were. Now, what will Statistic King, Jackson and all the others decide to do? Now, if you're at the back of the field, you haven't got anything to lose. But if you're Statistic King and Jackson, you've got everything to lose. So we've got 7 laps to go at the end of this lap. So will any of them decide to pit in? I think they do. In fact, Statistic King, Jackson and the others decide to pit in. Big Balls coming in. Warrior Huntsman stays out though. So Warrior Huntsman decides, do you know what? I'm going to gamble. I'm going to go to the end of the race and see where I end up. Link's doing the same. Wild Dog also staying out. Ricky coming in. And Pimis is having to wait behind a little bit, but Pimis is at the back of the field anyway. Pimis gets out in front of Carlos Killer, who had to get his front wing replaced, so he's lost another position as a result of it. So at least Dixon has got another chance at this now. He's in 13th place. I think he'll want to stay out for another lap, catch up to the field first, before he comes in for another tyre change. In fact, is he coming into the pits this lap? No, he's staying out. I think he knows his teammate's in anyway, so he'll want to get in front of Jack. He's just made his stop now, so Dixon's through. Dixon in 12th, Big Balls in 7th. So as it stands, Big Balls will be collecting 14 points plus the 1 for pole position. So you get 15 points in this race. Dixon would collect, at the moment, I believe, only 6. So Big Balls would not clinch the World Championship here today. Just pausing the menu a little bit just to improve the sound a little bit. Don't know why it's sounding like that. It's very unusual with the sort of background sounds coming through. Not as naturally as they should be through my headphones. So 6 retirements, 13 still running. Lap 22 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Warrior Huntsman in the lead, but he's got that penalty hanging over him, as is Lynx. Wild Dog is in 3rd place. This is going to make for an interesting finale to the race now. Even more interesting than it was 5 or 6 laps ago. And what will Dixon decide to do? He's coming in. So Dixon in for another set of softs, I would think. So this will be Dixon's 5th pit stop in this race now. So that is pit stop number 5 done. And Dixon will come out on another set of fresh softs in 13th. So Warrior Huntsman in 1st place, Lynx 2nd, Wild Dog 3rd, and there's Statistic King. And I've just seen that Jackson, he's dropped down a lot of positions actually under that safety car period, and he's down to 9th place. I've just noticed that. So Statistic King, you have to say, this is his race to win. He's got a good shot at it, but he needs to pick off Wild Dog, Lynx Piece, and Warrior Huntsman off one by one. He cannot take any unnecessary risk. At the same time, he's got the likes of Mikey, Ricky, Big Balls, Fake Scouser, and Jackson right on his tail. And goodness knows where Dixon could end up by the end of this race. This is not over by any means. Safety car in this lap. So there'll be 5 laps to go once we go back to green flag racing. So Statistic King thinking about what to do on this restart. Warrior Huntsman. I'm just going to pause the menu a little bit and then... Yeah, it seems to be suffering some audio issues at the moment. That'll be some form of glitch. But Warrior Huntsman thinks about when to go here. The safety car is in. He needs a good restart here, does the McLaren, and he will pull away. Here we go then, lap 24, 5 to go. Statistic King thinking about a pass on Wild Dog into turn 1, can't quite do it. Contact made. He needs to be very careful here. The Statistic King does not suffer any damage on this restart. Thinks about a move. Wild Dog needs to make sure he leaves enough space on the outside as they approach the first chicane of the lap. Statistic King to the outside. Is he through into 3rd place? Not so yet. And so Wild Dog trying to run Statistic King out wide, getting his elbows out. Statistic King's going to have a better exit. And look at that! Big Balls nearly dropping it, and now he's falling behind Jackson. So Big Balls dropped it on the exit of the hairpin, and he's fallen down the order. Statistic King on the inside there of Wild Dog into turn 8. Runs over the curbs. He should get a good run on Wild Dog on the exit, and he's through. So Statistic King passes the Mercedes of Wild Dog, and he's up into 3rd place. technically the win now because of Warrior Huntsman and Lynx's time penalties. And look at that. I think that's Wild Dog trying to hold off. Mikey doesn't do many favours. And that's allowed Ricky to pull alongside, get past the Mercedes. And he's through into 5th. So Ricky gets past the Mercedes of Mikey as we watch Jackson fight it out with Fate Scouser for 7th place. And that's Big Boss trying to close in as well. And where's Dixon? He's just got past Plymouth for 11th position. But he needs to be careful because Cars Killer's running over the curbs. He cannot take any unnecessary risks. Does Dixon? I just hope he hasn't suffered any front wing damage on this lap. Doesn't look like he has done. Jackson now with a time penalty for track limits. So 3 seconds has gone against him. And now he's got to be all today if he's going to win this race. And so Lynx. Oh, that's Warrior Huntsman out! Warrior Huntsman from the race lead has crashed out! Oh, that's a terrible shame for Warrior Huntsman! And that's Jackson spinning around also with the Alpine! The safety car is out for the 5th time! And Warrior Huntsman's race has ended in the wall! Unbelievable! Lynx now into the lead for Haas. Oh my goodness me, Sadistic King into 2nd place, Wild Dog now 3rd, Ricky is 4th, Mikey's in 5th, Fate Scouts is 6th, Big Boss 7th, Cars Killer 8th, Dixon ahead of Pyrrhus and Jack, and Jackson down to 12th after spinning coming out of turn 3. So Warrior Huntsman's race is ending in the wall, no points for him. We've got a safety car on circuit whilst we wait for the leaders. Now I just wonder who's going to take the opportunity to pit in. Now if you're Jackson, you'll think, great, I'll take the opportunity to pit in, get a new set of soft tyres on. This race has had the lot, hasn't it? So we're going to be in for a 2-lap shootout. The safety car will only stay out there for 1 lap because there will be 2 laps to go after the safety car comes back in at the end of that lap. So Wild Dog stays out. Mikey thought about ducking into pits, doing a little bit of a dummy there. Big Boss a little bit also. But Jackson's coming in, and this is no surprise. So there's a long way off the lead here. We get another set of soft tyres on. And out he goes. There's no way he's going to win this now. Passing 11 cars and for him to win. And plus he's got that penalty hanging over him. So Lynx in the lead. Sadistic King in 2nd. And we've got Wild Dog and Ricky. We have to say, in terms of who's favourite to win this now, it's probably going to be Sadistic King. Now, if he was to win this race, he would move in front of Bowie into 4th place. And Ricky would move also in front of Swinney and possibly Bowie, depending on where he ends up finishing. But Mikey's hold on 3rd place is looking increasingly likely at the moment, going to the final 2 races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So the safety car is in at the end of this lap. So it'll be 2 laps of green flag racing regardless. There'll be no DRS involved. We are going to be in for an incredible finish to this race. So Lynx thinks about what he's going to do here. I think he knows he's probably not going to win this race. It's going to be damage limitation. But having said that, others could get penalties in the remaining couple of laps also. So there's that to think about. So the drivers behind, those on penalties, 3 seconds each. So Jackson in 12th. What can he do from there? Here we go then. We are restarting for one last time. We're now on lap 27. Oh, there's a come together! That's well dug out! There was a coming together between him and Ricky's race is effectively finished as well. And now we go back to the battle for the lead because Statistic King is right behind Lynx for the lead. What are they going to do? Mikey's in third place. Dixon's got past Carlos Killer, so he's doing to sixth. Right behind Big Boss Bells, who's on the turn. So look at that! Big Boss spins! Coming out of the chicane, he's lost it! Big Boss has lost it on the edge of the chicane! And he's falling down to the back after that. So Dixon will be rubbing his hands together in delight. And look at that, Statistic King passes the penalty-bound Lynx into the race lead. And look at that. He's on course for victory. And Fate Scouser could end up finishing second as well. Mikey behind in third. Can he make a move on the Haas? Doesn't go for it. Does not go for it. And I don't think Fate Scouser will want to risk anything here now. He's got Dixon behind, who needs every point he can get in this race. And if he can pass Fate Scouser, Dixon could finish second. He really could finish second. So here we go then, we're about to start the last lap. And Pimis is also out. Turn 19 has caught him. He goes no further. So we're now on to the final lap of this race. Statistic King on course for victory. For the first time in Tier 1. Fate Scouser at the moment is on course to finish in second place. Dixon needs, as I've already mentioned, he needs every point he can get. Makes slight contact with the Alfa Romeo. Mikey's sending one to the outside. Does he get through? And the answer is yes, but look at that, Lynx nearly dropping it. There was a bit of contact on the exit. Fate Scouser will get into the slipstream of the Haas, and the Haas will get into the slipstream of the Mercedes. So this is going to be a drag race down to turn 8. Lynx will send one to the inside. Goes for it on Mikey. Makes contact again. Fate Scouser needs to be careful here, as does Dixon. Dixon trying to take advantage, but he drops it. Dixon loses the place to Carlos Killer. And Fate Scouser's got ahead of Lynx as a result of his overtake. So Fate Scouser on course for second place in this race. Jackson's through into P7, but he'll drop back with his penalty applied. So Statistic King, it looked unlikely to come out on top, but he's made the strategy work for himself. He's on course to take victory. Dixon trying to get past Lynx on track, which he does so. Into 5th place he goes. But we'll go back to Statistic King because he's about to take victory here in Abu Dhabi. Statistic King for Red Bull crosses the line to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at Yas Marina. His first victory in Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League. Fate Scouser crosses the line in second place on the podium for the first time this campaign. Carlos Killer third, Dixon fourth, Mikey is in 5th place. Then it's Jackson ahead of Big Balls, who is 7th, ahead of Lynx, and Ricky will be 9th because Jack did not cross the line because he's had an accident just before it. So Ricky will be 9th, Jack will be 10th, Pimis and Wild Dog will be classified in 11th and 12th. So Dixon collects 20 championship points in this race. Big Balls, by finishing in 7th, collects only 15. So the championship is still not yet clinched. But there's your race winner. It is Statistic King. Absolutely over the moon with himself. What a podium. Statistic King with his Red Bull cape on. Wow. He must be over the moon. Fate Scouser second and Carlos Killer in 3rd place. It's another podium for him. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my goodness me. Who would have predicted that at the start? So here's your race results. Statistic King wins with Fate Scouser in 2nd place, Carlos Killer in 3rd, Dixon 4th, and getting the point for the fastest lap. That could come crucial come the season's end. Mikey 5th, Jackson 6th, Big Balls in 7th place. Then it's Lynx ahead of Ricky. Jack was classified 10th, Pimis 11th, Wild Dog 12th. and Warrior Huntsman did not finish, neither did Common Bar, Berry, Ocon, Becco, Lewis and Smalley also retired. So the championship gap, with Dixon getting 21 points from this race, Big Balls picking up only 14. That reduces the championship gap by 7 points. So Big Balls goes into Bahrain next week with a 65-point lead with only 84 points left on the table. So Dixon is still in the fight for the title. Wow, I need to take a huge deep breath after all that. I'm lost for words. Thank you very much for joining us. Do make sure you like and subscribe in case you haven't already done so. And we'll do it over again in Bahrain in a week's time on Tuesday, the 1st of February, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.